Here's a collection of actual crimes committed by really dumb criminals. Just sit back and enjoy the insanity as we present. Stupid crime stories you just won't believe. In October of 2021, a dumb 33-year-old San Diego man was busted after he tried to rob the same Chase Bank 2 days in a row. He made off with a large amount of cash after he slipped a stick-up note to a teller at a local Chase Bank. But apparently it wasn't enough for him. So he came back to the bank the next morning and tried to rob it again. Police arrived and arrested him without incident. The robber had an outstanding arrest warrant and a rap sheet that included previous robbery convictions in San Diego. He was held on $170,000 bail in Orange County Jail and facing multiple robbery charges. In May of 2021, kidnappers in New York lured a 19-year-old victim to their location after agreeing to buy his car on Facebook Marketplace. Upon his arrival, half a dozen men pushed him into a vehicle and threatened him with a fake gun. Then they blindfolded him, called one of his relatives and demanded a $10,000 ransom for his safe return. But the smart relative traced the victim's phone to the area where he was being held. The location just happened to be right next to a police training center. Officers rushed to the area and the kidnappers were arrested. The victim had minor injuries. In September 2021, an Ohio woman woke up and found a burglar sleeping in her guest bedroom after he broke in overnight. The woman then noticed that the door to the backyard was open and that the man's pants were laying by the pool. Apparently he had taken a swim in her pool. He also stopped off in the kitchen and ate the leftover chicken. He even lit a candle in the bathroom. The woman, who lives with her husband and son, as well as her brother-in-law, noticed a light was on in the guest room. Her husband had already left for work before the intruder showed up. So she woke up her brother-in-law and he chased the intruder out of the home. Before leaving, the crook swiped a pair of her son's underwear. It remains unclear how the man entered the home. But her husband had seen the guy walking in the street shirtless before he left for work at 4 in the morning. He waited until the guy passed by before driving off. But the weirdo obviously came back. The intruder was later arrested by police, who suspected that he was drunk and brought him to a hospital for an examination. The man has since been slapped with a burglary charge and issued a court summons. A shoplifter in Scotland thought he could get away after stealing a bottle of vodka from a liquor store. However, he made it very easy for cops to find him. He had given his name and phone number to the clerk after asking her out on a date. She then arranged for him to be picked up by the local police. He was arrested and charged with theft. As 2 men waited in line at the coffee shop to pay their bill, a third man cut in front of them. He threw a drink at the clerk and demanded all the money from the register. Temporarily surprised, the men quickly recovered and handcuffed the crook. Apparently, in his rush the criminal didn't notice they were police officers in full uniform. He was arrested and sent to jail. Some of these crimes sound so ridiculous, you sometimes wonder if these criminals were literally asking to get caught. For example, take this next story. In 2010, 2 really dumb crooks walked into a Fred Meyer store in Portland, Oregon. They were wearing backpacks with the intention of filling them up with stolen merchandise. Which is exactly what they did. The men, aged 20 and 30, went down the aisle removing price tags from items and loading them in their backpacks. They took clothes, shoes, tools and even a blender. Obviously this is a crime. But here's what makes this a stupid crime. The morons were doing this during an event called Shop with a Cop Day. This is an annual event where local police take underprivileged schoolchildren on a shopping spree for school supplies. The kids are given a gift certificate to purchase items from the store. The police officers serve as companions to the children throughout the day as they shop for items. Shop with a Cop Day is a big event in that area. So big in fact that mounted patrol officers and canine units were right in front of the store. Inside were about 60 other uniformed officers from assistant chiefs and commanders to patrol officers. This is in addition to the store's own security staff. Just let that image sink in for a moment. According to reports, the 2 men clearly saw the huge presence of law enforcement. At first they figured it would not be a good time to commit a crime. But they then reasoned that the officers were too distracted to notice. As a police spokesman stated, store security watched in disbelief as these idiots loaded items into their backpacks. They then notified the officers. Since the event also featured a clown who was making balloons, officers waited until the kids were distracted. Then they arrested these other clowns. Sergeant Pete Simpson laughed and said, "We're helping kids and arresting bad guys at the same time." So in the end, these two idiots left with their backpacks in the same state as when they had arrived. Empty. You're probably thinking, no one else could be that stupid. Wanna bet? In December of 2011, another moron tried to steal store merchandise. This time it was from a Walmart. Again, it was on the special shop with a cop day. While some 50 police officers were in the store, he was in a back room opening boxes of video games and video game accessories. Once he gathered together the items, he attempted to walk out the store. How do you walk out of a store with stolen goods while 50 uniformed officers are inside? Of course, the officers stopped him as he was attempting to leave. At the time, he had over $600 worth of stolen goods in his possession. The dumb crook had to leave the store without them. Because you can't play video games in jail. Make sure you check out our other video series titled, The Real Story Behind the Song. This is a growing collection of behind-the-scenes stories on some of the biggest-selling songs from the past and present. We also explain the concept behind some of the most popular music videos ever made. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button and share the link with your friends. And be sure to subscribe to this channel for updates.